Hello, last week in our video, I went over how you can use Goodreads without making an account. But now I'd like to talk about the account features on Goodreads and what you can do if you decide to make a free account. To sign up for a Goodreads account, you can see here on the right side, you'll need your name, email address, and a password. You do have the option of pairing your account with various other platforms like Facebook and Twitter. Goodreads is owned by Amazon, so you can also pair your Amazon account. You do need to have access to the email address you provide to Goodreads. They will send a verification email almost instantly to that email address, and you'll have to click on the verification link that you receive to confirm your email. Goodreads does have the option for you to receive email updates about new books that are being released each month. So if that's something you're interested in, you want to make sure that that's an email address that you'll check and have access to always. Goodreads is a social platform, so it'll ask you after that if you want to go and find any of your friends. If you're aware of any friends that do have a Goodreads account, this is your opportunity to add them. You can see right now I'm on my personal profile. You can see this is my friends list right here. You can find people just on Goodreads. If you find some people that have similar reading tastes as you can add them as your friend. There are certain authors as well that are active on Goodreads that you can either follow or add as a friend. And so then when you go into your homepage, as we saw in the first video I did, I'll open up that homepage again. This is what I was showing with those updates. Now I am getting updates from my friends and the authors I follow on the things that they're reading and posting to Goodreads. And this is going to be all kinds of things about reading. After that, they'll give you the option of joining the Goodreads Reading Challenge. This is a personal challenge for yourself that Goodreads does. Each year, starting on January 1st, they will ask users to join the challenge of choosing how many books you personally aim to read this year. There's no amount of books that's acceptable or normal to choose. It's all up to you, and it's just for fun to see if you can reach your goal that year. If you do participate, at the end of the year, they'll give you a nice roundup of your year, which I'll open up really quick so we can take a look at what that looks like. I'm opening up my 2020. So it'll give you this nice infographic right here. We've got how many pages I read, how many books I read. Gives me some quick links to share on some different platforms if I'd like to do that. You'll get what the shortest book of the year was, as well as the longest book, average book length. This is the most popular title that other people also read last year, and this is the one that was least popular. Here's how I rate my books. This is the highest rated book that I read last year. And then this is all of the books that I read last year. It's a really fun thing to participate in because, again, this is all just about my own reading. It gives me some really interesting details each year, and as you can see, I did it the previous year. It's something I've participated in a few years, so I can go back through a few years and get all this kind of statistical information about the books that I'm reading each year. So that's a little bit about the Goodreads Challenge, which is fun to participate in. Next, they'll ask you to choose books that you've already read and rate them. This will help Goodreads figure out some genres that you might be interested in. These books will be added to your read shelf and will get your account started. They'll start off with just a list of some of the most popular or classic titles out there. You'll see a lot of titles that you recognize, whether or not you've read them. It's kind of just, one of those like most popular 100 books or something that they'll start off with. And you can choose the books you've read from that list. And that gets us into the main feature of your Goodreads account, and that's your bookshelf. There are 3 preset categories for your bookshelf. You can see I've hopped back to my profile page, which you can access at any time. Over here on the right corner, you can see I've got my icon highlighted right now. I'm going to click on that, and there's a list of all these different things. My profile is first. I can go see my friends groups and so on and so forth with these different options. So this is the link for the profile where I'm at right now. And here you can see I've got bookshelves. So the 3 preset categories for the bookshelf are read, currently reading, and to read. These are 3 categories that are automatically given to you for your bookshelves on Goodreads. And the rest of the categories you can see here are things that I've added for myself in my own organizations. You can create any shelf you'd like with whatever title you'd like. It's your personal shelf, and whatever organization you want to use for your books is completely up to you. Because of my job, I hear a lot about interesting books all the time that I'd like to read. So my want to read books is very extensive. You can see it's over 500 books right now, and I'm constantly removing books from that list. So it can be difficult for me sometimes when I'm looking to start a new book. I can often forget about titles that I heard about the year before and never got around to. So what I started to do a few years ago, you can see it starts in 2015, is I would take select titles from that year or that I had heard about recently that I want to read soon, and I want to keep track of those in these year-specific lists so that I don't forget those titles or those authors that I wanted to give a try. I also like to keep track of the graphic novels that I read for ease of access to those series because for anyone that reads graphic novels, you know that keeping track of what issue or volume number you left off on is important. I like to keep track of book club ideas. I do lead our book club at the library, but we do other book club titles as well. So I like to have some book club options. This NF stands for nonfiction. I mostly read fiction, but I still enjoy certain nonfiction titles. So I started a nonfiction shelf for myself. You can cross-add books to different bookshelves. I'm going to show you what that looks like real quick. When you're on the list, this is just my nonfiction list. You can see here books. This is the nonfiction list. I'm going to scroll down here to where we've got this title. You can see I've got it marked as to read. And then if we scroll down a little bit, all of these options down here are check boxes. So I've got it also marked as a graphic novel and nonfiction. And so I could do that with any of these titles, choosing which shelves I'd like them to be in. Just to show you of an option of what some other shelves look like and what you can do with your own bookshelf. I'm going to show you real quick one of my friends. As you can see, they have a much more extensive organizational system that they've used to keep track of genres and other things about the book that they liked or how they rated overall. You can see there's a low rated option, high rated. We've got young adult, series, sci-fi, fantasy. So this friend of mine likes to really break it down into all the different genres and how they read this book, just to for their own kind of organizational and record keeping of how they like to catalog what they've read. So now we're at the point of adding more books to your shelf. You've already gone through that primary list that Goodreads gives you, and you're ready to add some more books. Well, at any time, you can always just go to the search books option and put in any title or author that you're looking for. You can also search by ISBN if you have that handy. Either of those will work. You can also go under Browse. So once you have some books in a bookshelf ready to go, you can go to the Browse section and go to Recommendations. And based on what is on your shelf, you can see here it says Recommendations by Shelf. It's giving me a couple shelves that I have, and then if I were to click on any of these, it would give me a list of recommendations based on what is in that shelf of books. So I've clicked on the nonfiction shelf, and so now it's giving me, based on the books that are in my nonfiction shelf, some other nonfiction titles that I might be interested in. You can see there's also recommendations by genre, so if you don't have these shelves built up yet, you can just go to the genre of your choice and click on that, and it'll do the same thing and bring up some popular titles within that genre. It'll be a mixture, as you can see. Some of these are more recent titles, some of them are titles that have been out for a while. Same thing as the previous video we have. Anytime you hover over the book jacket, it'll come up and give us some more information so I can go ahead and read about it. If this is a book that interests me, you can see right here, I can just quickly press want to read right away. If it is a book I've read already, I can rate it. And if it's something I'm not interested in, I can press not interested. It's as easy as that to add the book to your shelf. If you want to add it to something other than want to read or reading, let's say it's something you're going to read now, you're going to start reading it immediately, you can open up the book record and you'll see again where that banner is. And this drop-down menu will bring up all those options of whatever shelves you have created. And again, once you're on this page, if this is a book you've liked, there's a lot of different ways to find books from that with this readers also enjoyed or any of the lists it's a part of. You can go ahead and watch the first video that we made on Goodreads for some of that. You may have noticed right here on my bookshelf when we were on this page of my profile that I have a shelf that's called Did Not Finish. So these are for books that I started reading and I just did not finish them and they just weren't for me. So for me, these books will not show up in either my read, currently reading, or to read shelves. Normally, all of your books have to appear in one of these three lists. You can have them cross-posted to these other lists, but these three are considered exclusive lists, and your book normally has to be a part of one of these. There is a way around that, so I'm going to show you right now if you're interested in creating an exclusive shelf similar to Did Not Finish. So we're opening up my main bookshelves. You can see it says My Books, and right here it says Bookshelves, and there's this little edit button. I'm going to click on that, and this is giving me all of my bookshelves and the options for those. It'll give you the information right here. So there's an option to feature a shelf. I could, on my profile, choose one of these shelves to feature so that anyone that visits my profile would see that shelf first. Sometimes people will create a list or a bookshelf of their favorite books and they'll feature that on their profile. There's also an option for how, if you'd like the sorting options on the list, you can just check off any of these. Sticky, obviously just putting it up on the top. This is the exclusive line. So you can see here, these three are automatically exclusive. I can't take them off, but I can add any of these lists that I have personally made as an exclusive list. So what that means, like I mentioned, is that now These 3-4 lists are my exclusive lists, and any book I have marked on my shelf has to be in one of these lists first. And then this is just what can be used for my recommendations. So these are the shelves that I have marked off as something that I'd like to get recommendations based off of, which is another option you can do. Go ahead and press I'm done. And you can see some other options. There's groups, so you can join a group. Sometimes there are book clubs that will be active on Goodreads that you can join if you'd like to participate in a digital book club like that. It'll be set up kind of like a little forum. See if I can open one up right now. So you can see the different posts right here. I won't open everything up, but this will be where a post would be. You can open these up, and then that's where you can go participate in the book discussion or whatever group you choose to join. This is for that reading challenge. Here is where you can set your favorite genres easily. So I'll go ahead and choose that. It's very easy. You can just check off any of the genres on here that interest you, and then save, and that'll help Goodreads when they're sending you when they're sending you emails or recommendations. They'll be able to get you some good recommendations that you might enjoy. This is also a time you are also able to make your own list. So this is different from the bookshelf. This is one of those public lists that you could put together. You can see here there's the option to create a new list. There's lists I created, lists I voted on, and lists I've liked. You are able to vote on lists as well once you have an account. So I'll go ahead and open this up right here. As long as it is a public and open list, you'll see right here underneath there is an option to vote for this book. So if any of these books in this list were a book that I really liked or enjoyed and thought that the rating should be higher, I could go ahead and vote for the book. There's no limit to how many books you can vote for in the list either. You can just keep going and voting for whatever books you think deserve a higher rating. That's a little bit of the features that you can use to have a Goodreads account to keep track of your reading throughout the year and how it evolves and changes. It's really interesting to see personally how you read and what kind of titles and genres you find interesting as the years go on. I hope this helped some of you. If you have any questions about getting a Goodreads account or any issues, give us a call at the library or leave us a comment. I'm at the reference desk Monday through Friday in the afternoons, and we'll be happy to answer your questions and get you started on your account with Goodreads.